Light is needed to see things around us. We are able to see the beautiful world around us because of light. Light is a form of energy. It is an electromagnetic radiation that travels in a straight line. We detect light with our eyes. Light enables us to see objects from which it comes or from which it is reflected. Based on the source of light, we classify objects as luminous and non-luminous. Objects that emit their own light are called luminous objects, and objects which do not emit light themselves but only reflect or scatter the light which falls on them are called non-luminous objects. Now let's understand how we see things around us. Sun is a natural source of light. When sunlight falls on an object like a tree, a flower or chair, etc., it reflects the light to our eyes. When the reflected light enters our eyes, then we are able to see that object because for our eyes, the light appears to be coming from that object. This bouncing back of light is called as reflection of light. We can define reflection as the bouncing back of light into the same medium when it strikes a surface. We can see a smooth polished surface, a mirror, and an irregular surface which is a stone. Light from a bulb is falling on the polished surface and you can very clearly see that the light rays are getting reflected. Similarly, the light rays falling on the irregular surface also get scattered or reflected. That means reflection can take place in any surface. The difference is that in a smooth surface, reflected rays are parallel to each other, while in an irregular surface, the reflected rays are not parallel to each other. This means that there are two types of reflection, regular and irregular reflection. Regular reflection take place in a smooth polished surface, whereas irregular reflection take place in any uneven rough surface. In regular reflection, reflected rays are parallel to each other, whereas in diffused or irregular reflection, the reflected rays are not parallel to each other. Note that in both the case, incident rays are parallel to each other. A clear image is obtained in regular reflection, whereas no images are formed in diffuse or irregular reflection. In this year, let's concentrate reflection on a smooth polished surface. A smooth polished surface means immediately a mirror comes to our mind. So, when a light ray falls on the mirror, it easily gets reflected back. The light ray that falls on the mirror is called as incident ray. So, we can define incident ray as a ray of light that comes or strikes a surface. The point at which the incident ray strikes the surface is called as point of incidence. As soon as the incident ray strikes the surface, it bounces back, and this ray of light which bounces back from the surface is called as reflected ray. So, reflected ray is a ray that bounces from a surface. Now let's draw a perpendicular line, that is an imaginary perpendicular line passing through the point of incidence. This imaginary perpendicular line passing through the point of incidence is called as normal. Notice the two angles marked in the figure, angle I and angle R. These are called as angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is the angle between incident ray and normal, and angle of reflection is the angle between reflected ray and normal. Whenever reflection takes place from a surface, it obeys two laws. Let's recall the laws of reflection. The first law states that the incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal to the reflection at the point of incidence lie in the same plane. The second law states that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. That means angle I is equal to angle R. The laws of reflection is seen in both regular and irregular reflection. So light always reflects according to these two laws. If you keep an object in front of the mirror, what do you see? Yes, you see the image of that object on the mirror. The mirror that you always use in your daily life is a plane mirror. Light from the object arrives to the plane mirror and each of the beam is reflected by the mirror according to the laws of reflection. And the image is formed at a point when these reflected rays meet. So, we have understood that mirror is a smooth polished surface. We can classify mirrors based on the type of the reflecting surface they have. A mirror with a straight reflecting surface is called as a plane mirror, whereas mirrors which have curved reflecting surfaces are called as concave and convex mirrors. In concave mirror, reflecting surface is curved inwards, whereas in convex mirror, reflecting surface is curved outwards. The reflecting surface of these curved mirrors seems to be a part of a big hollow sphere of glass. Hence, concave and convex mirrors are also known as spherical mirrors. So, basically there are two types of mirrors, plane mirrors and spherical mirror. It's interesting to note that the image formed by these three mirrors are different for the same object. First, let's understand the properties of image formed by a plane mirror. Imagine that you are standing in front of a plane mirror. What do you observe? You observe that your image is also of the same height and it looks exactly like you. So, the first characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror is that it is of same size. If you measure the distance between yourself and mirror, then it will be same between your image and the mirror. That means the image formed in a plane mirror is at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of the mirror. And that is why when you move forward, your image also moves to the same distance in the forward direction. Now you try to keep a screen beside you and try to obtain your image on the screen. You can understand that your image can be seen on the mirror but not on the screen. Such images are called as virtual image. Image formed in a plane mirror is virtual. It cannot be received on a screen. Also, the image formed by the plane mirror is erect. It is the same side up as the object. Now you lift your right hand. You can observe that your image lifts its left hand. And if we lift our left hand, then the image appears to lift its right hand. This means that the right side of our body becomes left in the image, whereas the left side of the body becomes right in the image. This property is called as lateral inversion. So, images formed in a plane mirror is laterally inverted or sideways reversed with respect to the object. Let's recall the points that we learnt in this video. We understood the phenomenon of reflection and learnt the types of reflection. We understood that there are two types of reflection and reflection can take place from any surface. We also studied the two laws of reflection and the types of mirrors. Later, we discussed the characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror. I hope that you have understood all these points that we have discussed in this video. Also, you can visit the channel for more videos of class 10 physics and chemistry. Do subscribe the channel and give your love and support.